Hey everybody, today we have an Optoma TWR1693 to look at. This was given to me to be repaired because it's making a noise, and the picture supposedly has a blurry area, kind of like this as I'm doing on the camera. So first thing I did was open it up, or open the lamp area up by just quarter turning those, and they pop up. That flips open, and then here's the lamp. That pops right out. And the lamp's kind of neat. It can be aimed. You loosen that screw, and then that one. And then this thing here is on a cam, and it will, see if I can get it to do it. Yeah, it moves that little foot back so that this whole thing can tilt. Now this one's already aligned. I believe it's by lining that triangle up with that notch. But I'm not 100% on that, but I'm pretty sure. So I took this all out and just wanted to make sure there was no obvious debris. I don't see any. I do see the color wheel down there. The way the symptoms are described make me think that it is the color wheel that's making the noise. So I guess what we will do is, without putting the lamp in, because I don't want the projector to heat up at all, just going to lock one of those down. We're going to add power to this and fire it up to see what kind of noise it's making. And since I'm not using a lamp, I can just yank the cord out if it's a really bad noise. Let's plug that in, turn my power strip on, and let's see, main power to the projector is on. We should see the power light in a moment. Yep, there we go. And oh, yeah, that's the color wheel. Alright, I just hit the power switch on that, the main power switch. So that tells me that, yeah, there's something up. Rubbing, I don't know, maybe there's debris in there. But either way, we need to get inside. So, let's see. Let me see if I can put you guys in a better spot. Alright, so let's open that back up. Now, I have worked on these before. This does not need to come out. These can stay in. There's just a couple screws on the inside here, which I've actually already taken out, as you can see there. I started to do the video and realized I didn't have the camera running. So just pretend I took those two out. And now we're going to move to this one. Get that one out, and then there's a lip. There's this frame. It looks like it's all one piece, like the top and the frame, but this frame is actually a separate part by itself. So I'm going to get my spudger. Nope, gotta have this open. And you can see there's a clip right here. That'll kind of start it coming loose. And then I just go around and work the rest of those. There's this clip. Just gonna pull in, push in, and lift. The hard part is getting this lid to not interfere too much. And I guess you could take the lid out, but every time I've done one of these, I've never had to. There we are. So now the rail is all, or this rim. It's a little difficult to do with the camera in front of me because it's blocking my access a little. But there we go. So that rim comes off. I'll just set that in front. And then we can see the pile of screws that covers it up, or that's covered up by the rim. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and they're all marked with the letter C. So I would imagine if we looked in the service manual, we would see something about the C screws. You know, see, that one had a C as well. But what's really strange is that they're different screws. So all the C's come out of the same marking, but they're different screws. Now, fortunately, it's easy to tell which one goes where. Plastic screws have the coarse threads, and the socketed screws have the fine threads. Oh, that's right, we got one up here. I'm trying to remember if there's one coming up from the bottom. I don't think so. I think we can just pop it loose. Yeah. Just looking down through there. Alright, let's get Mr. Spudger. I'll just go around. Once I get the corner up, we should be in good shape. Well, maybe there is a screw coming up from the bottom, because this is not moving. Nothing there. Oh, we have two. Yep. I'll bet these two need to come out. Because I seem to recall that top panel coming off much easier. There we are. Alright. Yeah, so now that just literally lifts right off. Now we do have a keyboard, so unlatch that. And then lamp door switch, I suspect. Yep. Lamp door switch is here. Where's that speaker? Oh, that's a speaker. Alright. So that goes to the speaker. And then just the keyboard buttons. So we'll set that behind it as well. We need to get in here to where that color wheel is. Now, I don't see anything obvious, but let's see. Yeah, it doesn't feel good when I push on it. It kind of drags. I just wonder if somebody else was in here messing around. And everything else looks okay, nothing obvious. You can see the lamp shines through there. This one got hot at one point. I don't think that bump is supposed to be there, this right here. Doesn't look crazy dirty, but it doesn't look super clean either. Well, let's get the optic block out and see what we have. I'm going to do that. We're going to take all the top screws out. Like I said, I want to try to remove as much in one piece as I can. Actually, I don't think I said that in this video. It just tends to be the way I do it. I try to remove sub-assemblies as intact as possible. And we'll just disconnect all our wires, color wheel sensor, the index as it says there, then the motor wire, and then infrared, I believe, some fans, ballast control, temperature, or is that, nope, that's the switch, the door switch. And then we have 1, 2, 3 fans, and then power supply I can't get to yet. So maybe I can leave that in place. Let's see. We getting loose yet? A little bit. Looks like I may have to take the board out by itself first. Oops. Drop that screw. I still think I should be able to take that board out with the metal plate underneath. For some reason I remember being able to do that, but maybe it was on a similar but not identical model. We'll take the shield off. Yeah, somebody was in here or something, because that inductor's broken, and I don't see any bits of inductor in here. I'm also pretty sure you don't see Captain tape on top of foil tape. Just the little things you start to notice. Alright. And here we are. There's the power connector. We'll set the main board somewhere safe. Put that in a static bag. Alright. Yeah, that's right. We got some screws here, so that metal frame does need to come out separately. It's always worth checking. You never know. This one. Yep. Right side screwdriver can save you a lot of hassle. Alright, now you can see the power supply and the ballast. There's the incoming power supply. There's the capacitors. I was going to see if any of those look bad, and none of them look bloated or leaky, so that's good. Then we have the ballast. There's our output wire to the lamp, control wire, and then power input. There's the lamp blower fan. We're going to make sure that's clean. Looks like they're also using it to keep the DLP chip cool too. But we're going to take this piece out here. There's only a couple screws, three I believe, 3 or 4. 1, 2, 3. Is that loose? Oh yeah, it's coming out with the video mute switch. That metal piece has got to come out. And so that I don't shatter the chip. Let's see if I can leave that video mute. Yeah, I can. Alright, good. Well, let's just take it out and we can look at it. So on the front, when you first look at your projector, that's what you see. That's connected. And it doesn't have a switch. Usually they have a switch that tells it when it's open and closed. But this one just must be purely, you know, in place of a lens cap. But usually they'll have a some kind of switch that says when it's open and closed. And that's just the infrared lead. Alright, so just looking in here, that fan doesn't look too bad. You can see it through there. Still blow it out, but it's definitely not a dirty projector, so that's good. Now the piece that we want to actually look at. Let's see, why is that dragging? What is, oh, it's dragging on that foil. And is that missing a screw? Let's take this out. Oops, I bent. There we are. Alright, so I gotta be careful. I can't put any pressure without supporting. Alright, first things first. Let's just check this guy. Alright, so that's not bad. That spins okay. I'm happy with that. This, what is that? Did this whole thing warp? What happens is this metal gets really hot, and not the foil covering it, but you can see that's just glued on. But this, yeah, see, that's what happened. This all got really hot and started to warp. Not quite sure what I want to do about that. Let's pull the light tunnel out so that we can just work on where the actual issue is. Oh, I found the problem. The bracket for the light tunnel broke. And that would explain why the picture had that piece on the side. Those are the springs for aligning the light tunnel inside the bracket, but I wanted to take this out so we could really look at it. Yeah, see that? That's melted and bent. You can see it used to be kind of like this, and then that broke. This shield here, is that just tabbed on there? Let me make sure I'm staying in frame and not wandering out like I like to do. So we can peel that off. That's what that light can do. That light gets really hot, especially when it's focused in a little spot like that. Looks like at one point they had a lamp in that wasn't aligned right. That probably melted that. In fact, it melted it through this. It went through this and heated it. So, I'm not quite sure what we can do about this. I'm not sure if I can salvage this, or what I might do is see if I have some parts out of a scrap unit maybe. Let's take the take that bracket out too. That has the alignment springs and screws. Alright, I'm actually going to use this for these little screws. These are all just for this area. Put this stuff in there too so I don't lose it. Now I should be able to get that out. I'm about to take that screw out. I probably have to take, so this is how you adjust the angle. I probably have to take that screw all the way out. let's see if that releases this one. Let's connect, they're hooked together maybe, or is it just, yeah, it might just be pushing, but it's a delicate area, so we're going to be careful. Now this should come out. All right. And so the way this works, this goes down in here. That goes down in there. This sits kind of like that with a spring pushing it. And then on the other side, we have a screw which pushes back. So that lets us angle it this way or this way. Because what happens is the light, move this, when the light shines in, it goes through the integrator, and the integrator kind of, it makes the beam just a nice solid beam. Do it backward, yeah, that way. And by aligning this, you're shining the beam into that lens, and then that goes in for the image. So this is pretty critical. Need that to not be broken. So I'm going to pause the video and go see if I have anything in my. I went through my parts bin, and I believe I may have found a solution. This is a Polyvision PJ905 optic assembly, but it's similar to the unit I'm working on now, this Optoma. Now the color wheel on this one is obviously not very colorful, but you can see the mounting method is very similar. You can also see, more importantly, that this is virtually identical. It even has the same adjustment method down there. So set this off to the side, set that off to the side, and carefully put the color wheel somewhere else. And then let's pull this apart and see what we can get out of here, and see if this will do what we need. I believe I can just kind of pull this light tunnel out and hopefully just kind of pop it into the other one. You can see that even the mounting areas are similar. Now on the other one, the one thing we will have to do is we will have to clean it. The lenses on the inside are looking a little funky. Just need a good wiping, I think. So let's see, that does too as well. Alright, so that's getting loose. Let's take that screw out. that screw. This one looks like it's, no, it's still tight. It just must have been where it was adjusted to. Adjusting is going to be difficult. Alright, integrator comes out. That's good. That's really good. It is not damaged. The glue is still good. This one has a slight chip. I'm not worried about it. You can see it's got a little chip on the end. That really wouldn't affect anything, but I like that this one doesn't. This one's a little longer. You have to see if that's going to be an issue or not. But let's get these out. Now, I believe that means that both of these projectors were made by a company called Delta. So they make this one for sure. So going by the layout, they must make the other one. Alright, so we got those out, and just make a mental note of how clean that lens looks. Because when we look at this lens, it's hazy. So before I even go to putting the test fitting the other light tunnel, because even if that one doesn't fit, I can get one. We're going to take this cover off. Very carefully, because the lenses are just kind of pressure fit and pushed in there. And there's the other lens. The light comes in, goes through the first two lenses, reflects off that mirror, goes through that lens, hits the chip, chip makes the picture, and then it comes out through that lens. So that one's okay. It's these two that I'm concerned with. So I'm going to pop the, I'm going to make a mental note which direction they face. The bulbous side faces out on the second one, and the first one doesn't look like it matters. I'm going to try and keep it pointing the same way. Alright. So I'm just going to use a microfiber and keep it oriented the same direction. And we'll set it back in and just give it a quick peek and see how it looks. And again, I preserve the orientation. It's still a little crusty, but it's definitely better. I don't want to clean this with alcohol, because the alcohol might damage it. So that's about as good as it's going to get, and that'll be fine. There's no image going through there, it's just light. And then looking at the lens, that looks a little bit of dust. We'll just blow that off. Yeah, that's all we have to do. Then I'm also going to do just a little air in there, and we have to be careful because this will fall out. See, it's a little loose. So there we are. That just sets back in position. Now we can put these screws back in. And there's probably torque specs for these, but it's just plastic. So just get it snug and then a little bit more. This is that PPS glass fiber reinforced plastic. I'm not sure how much is in there. Let's see, PPS GF. No mention of a number. So I'm going to guess it's like 30 or 40% just by the look of it. Alright, so that's back in. Now let's see if we can use the longer integrator or if that's going to be a problem. No, it fits. Does not hit the lens. That's good. Trying to see if there's any way that it's keyed where it wouldn't fit one way or the other. See, to me, this way looks straighter. More straight. Straighter. More straight. Let's see. Do we have any spring marks where the springs were pushing? And again, not really. Oh, because the screws push. I see. Okay. So it's spring and spring, screw and screw. So they just have to line up. So I think this is the way we're going to go, because it lines up really straight with everything I need it to line up with. And just to be sure, I will confirm on this other PJ905 housing. So let's see, they have it that way. Oh, reversed. See, to me it looks like it would fit better the other way. I guess it's really 6 of one, half dozen of the other. Alright, so this is really good. I'm glad we can use this. Let's see what we have to do to get this back together now. Alright, I paused the camera and I did some monkeying around to see how I could get it to go back together. So I can't figure out any way to do this without putting the springs in first. There's no way to put the springs in after the fact, which is fine. It looks like I should be able to slide the integrator in with the springs in there, and then when I put the screws in, that'll tighten it down. I keep pushing on that. I can't do that. I'll just be careful. Alright, so those are in. There's the springs. And again, the dot, that dot is going to go that way. So let's see if we can just slide this in. And then just kind of set it. And then what I'll do is I'll put the side screws in to counteract the springs before we put, that screw and that screw, and and that screw. And then we'll see how it straightens out. And then I should be able to put these top screws in. Oh, wrong screw. that one's in. That's a start. And that made the one side sit nicely. Now we'll put this one in on the other side. And that should allow the other side to sit nicely. Oh, there's some crust in there. Old glue or something. There we go. There we go. Now it's sitting down. Wow. I honestly didn't think that was going to work. I suspect they just modified the original design for those newer projectors where I harvested this from. Because boy, it seems almost like they saw problems with the old design and figured out a better one. Okay. So they eliminated the foil, which was good. There we go. That's a lot better. Now the only hard part is getting the light tunnel aligned. Now this one, let's see, we do have access to that screw, but not really that screw when it's in the projector. It's going to be, sitting like that. So I'm going to try. I don't know if this will work or it's even worth trying, but I'm going to try shining a light in this way. And I'm going to see, let me get the integrator lined up for you all. See that dot? I'm going to put this right in the middle and see if, let me get my screwdriver on it. And we're going to see if it'll move. I keep it in the middle. Alright, so I got to do this off camera, so I'll be right back. Alright, so I played around with the flashlight and I think I got it pretty good. I'm probably going to have to tweak it, so I will assemble it as such with that in mind. Let's put the color wheel back in place and see what that looks like. Yeah, it's covering up the hole all the way and definitely not going to rub on it. That's good. Alright, and screwdriver. Oops. So those are tight. That's in. So that's reassembled. This is ready to go back in the projector. Let's get the